Testing 1 2, good evening, hello, welcome. How are you? What's going on? I've been told to slow down in the beginning. I go very fast. I immediately dive into whatever needs to be done. But I'll give a minute or two to say hi, hellos, and just check if everything is working. I know it's working, but just drop a hello, guys. I'm not starting without a hello. Hi, Ganesh, welcome. Our agenda is how to DILR, and I do not like vague talk and advisory consulting. If I wanted to do that, I would have become a consultant. Uh, so, if I want to discuss how to DILR, it has to be done with a real challenge as well. It can't be just fluff talk, general level consulting, right? Not just gyan, actual actionables. Uh, and we will try out a set and we will do that meta commentary in terms of what are the skills that we need, the list of skills required. The agenda is, can I learn as much as possible from one set, two set, five sets, and then the process is done because the sets will keep changing, but our key ideas will remain the same, right? So I will. The set was shared earlier. If you want to find it, you can find it on the Telegram channel right now, and we will go through that. Even if you haven't done it, which is the case for most people, we'll do it together. But even before we dive into that, if I go through 50, 100 cat level sets, what are the skills that are required? What is it that I need, right? So definitely reading and comprehension. Can I read a paragraph quickly and take out the key pieces of information? Because a lot of it will be off the nouns, pronouns, etc. And there'll be some key rules there. Can I find it out? It's not even a challenge. Not that you have to like it's hidden somewhere. It's just there. Can I do it quickly and efficiently? Because if I am now presenting the set on the screen, look at this. It is the beginning. How you are starting the process is reading. So in case you're a poor reader, if you struggle with reading, if you can't process this sentence level information quickly, there will be a struggle, right? So English or the language is a barrier. My theory is that if the same challenge was given to you in your mother tongue, you will not find it as difficult, right? Unless you are already very comfortable with English. So reading and comprehension is definitely a major part of the process. So figure out if that is in place, because without that you're not getting the rules right. You have to read the sentence three times before you make sense of it. Somebody else is doing it in one go, right? Then it's about concentration, focus, and memory, because there are no formulas here. The logic is very, very basic level. Example after example, we'll see that at the most basic step is not too much of a challenge. It is just that there are a lot of steps, right? And so, do I have the necessary concentration, focus, and some bit of memory, right? I don't want to think too much of memory as such, but definitely can I concentrate for 5, 6, 7 minutes straight? And do I enjoy the process? Because there are rules after rules, and you don't have the picture in the beginning, and you keep plotting the information, and the work gets extended, right? So it's not very high intelligence work, it's repetitive, boring work. So can I maintain my? I don't want to call it boring. Can be interesting because once you are in it, it's fun, and especially if you solve it, it's super amount of fun, right? But there's a lot of same kind of steps over and over again. So I definitely require some concentration and focus, right? And we can talk about this separately, how to work on your concentration and what are the things which are basically destroying your concentration. I've heard in the modern generation the concentration is very, very low. And the reason for that is phones and in constant interruptions and the minds all scattered all over the place. But this is still vague. Now, if I talk about specific, what is it that makes a good DILR solver? Because a lot of people call it puzzles and riddles, and that is not the case. A lot of the work is clerical, bookkeeping. There's a lot of information, and you will have to put it out in a table, right? For example, these are the tables that I've created for this particular challenge that the story will get into in a second, but I need to organize that data quickly, cleanly and efficiently, right? Because if I don't think about what I'm doing, I will create a data structure and then have to create a new one. But if you do 8-10 problems, you'll figure out how this process works, right? But a lot of it is detailed bookkeeping. What we mean by that, we'll see in a second. A major part of it, and where a lot of people struggle, is building and testing cases or the uncertainty. So there is a piece of information given, and even after using it, I figure out that the table or the data is still not complete. There is still a empty slot there, or I figure out that for a particular player character there are two attributes. You cannot come down to one answer, and that is a major challenge uh, for almost everybody who's not familiar with these kind of challenges, because most of our school education, maths, English, whatever, had very concrete answers. When you worked with your maths problems, you got a fixed answer, except in algebra, thinking of ranges, you had answers from -5 to +5, right? So that is the only introduction. But here, in a lot of cases, in a lot of modern day CAT level cases, you will see that the information is not complete, but that is okay. Once you go through like 10 problems, you know okay, that happens, and that is not a problem, because maybe the question will give me some more pieces which will help me eliminate one of the options, right? So creating and testing cases, 2 stories or 4 stories are created, and then later the one correct story remains and the other stories get rejected. So in case this is not making sense, that is what I meant in the beginning, that without an actual problem to work apply this, it is meaningless, right? So but it's a major skill. Basic logic. Uh, Basic logic is that Ram and Sham live in blue and black houses. Ram does not live in the black house. So, therefore, he lives in the blue house. That is the level of logic that you require, right? The story becomes 3 people, 5 houses, different colors, but at the most basic level, this is the kind of deduction that you need to make, right? More again. So, this is for most of the puzzle sets as such. Beyond this, if I think of okay, what are the other, like what is the pre-prep I require for DI, I need basic arithmetic, and that means I'm talking about mastery in ratios and percentages. There is definitely, even in the modern day setup, there is at least one set which is based on ratios and percentages, visually represented, but the idea, the mechanics behind it is ratios and percentages. Another major topic which has appeared over the years is Venn diagrams or basic set theory, right? In fact, in ratio percentages, I will also add averages. Yeah. So definitely need to do these three for that DI driven set as such. For the logic cases, these are the major skills that are required, right? Now, beyond that, stamina, do I have the capacity to go for 8-10 minutes? That too under pressure. That too also when I don't know whether the solution will come or not. The only major change that happens is as we practice, we figure out ki, oh, yeah, the solution comes. So as you're doing those step after step, you're not panicking, you're breathing all right, and everything is in place, right? And then lastly, for the test scenario is pressure handling. So anyway, people are scared of DILR. I don't know why. I think because of that test day final pressures only. But uh, uh, so that is the major problem in DILR, the fear factor. And I have personally also experienced it. It's not that I have not experienced it, and I have it's gone now. So I believe my own course basically, right? My own process at least. And I'll share those psychological problems also. Okay, so this was vague talk, and as we solve the problem, I'll keep going back to these key skills that are required, right? So now I'm starting with the problem. This is 18 research papers, researcher problem. It is from CAT 21 slot 1, and there were two other easier sets. One I discussed yesterday. I haven't saved that video. I'll make a new one again. And one is even easier ratios percentage, which I will discuss anyway, or it will be loaded in the course anyway, right? This is a tougher one, which people think, as far as if I've checked the stats in terms of how people did in this set, it was very poorly. Like 13%, 14% people got it right across the set, right? So it is seemingly it is very difficult, but one thing, if we were live in class, I would also hold you and say, tell me where is it difficult, right? Till you say ki no, it's not difficult, and you figure out where the problem is, right? The problem is within us. We have poor reading, we have poor concentration, we get scattered brain after reading 4 sentences. A lot of people get scared and their heart starts pumping, and then they're not thinking anyway, right? So not only I want to solve it, I want to keep asking what is the difficulty, right? Uh, and I understand exam, once a year exam, that extra pressure, which is fine. But after the exam, somebody, a teacher saying it's very difficult, I don't want to believe that, right? And that exam pressure applies to everyone, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let's dive into the problem. Are we ready? Let's do that anyway. One is never ready. Our journal Our journal plans to publish 18 research papers written by 8 authors A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H in 4 issues of the journal scheduled in January, April, July, and October. 4 months, January, April, July, and October, 18 different papers by 8 authors A to H, right? So, this is what I have to figure out, who wrote in which month. That is a challenge for me. Then conditions are given, and most of them are very commonsensical level. Each of the research papers was written exactly by one of the 8 authors. That means no two people wrote the same paper. One paper was written by one person, right? A person might have written multiple papers, but there were no collaborations. Now I am getting into details. 5 papers were scheduled in each of the first 2 issues. What are the 2 issues? January and April. While 4 were scheduled in each of the last 2 issues. So, okay, 5 in the first 2 and 4 in the last 2. So, I have already created the table. This is kind of cheating. I should have created the table also in front of you. But between the live technology, light camera action, this is a little bit of allowance that I have given myself, right? So, January, April, July, October, 5, 5, 4, 4. Okay, great. Any challenges so far, right? Just quickly keep saying yes or no, and the answer should be no, no challenges so far. And I'll not wait for your answers, I'll move on, because a lot of people watch it later and they don't want to waste time waiting, right? The total, where were we? Okay, 5 papers, we have covered this. Let's go step by step. Every author wrote at least 1 paper and at most 3 papers. So minimum is 1 and the maximum that a person can write is 3. Another thing that happens in DILR is people start overthinking. Right now is not the time. It's not even, thinking is not required. Capturing the information is required. So I say, okay, great, I noted 1 minimum, 3 maximum. The total number of papers written by A, D, G, and H was double the total number of papers written by the other 4 authors. Stay with this information. Right, I'll make it slightly bigger. And the thing to notice here, and this is where your maths foundation and your general problem solving comes in. I have 4 characters, that means half the authors, right? There were 8 authors in the story. Their number of papers was double the total number of papers written by the other 4 authors. Okay, so let me try and capture that, and I've captured it here. A plus D plus G plus H is equal to 2 twice of B, C, E, and F. For a second, if I call this team 1 and I say, okay, team 1 score is 2 times the score of team 2. Can I say that? And I also know team 1 plus team 2 is equal to 18. Basic school level, not even high school level maths, right? T1 plus T2 is equal to 18. So I have two equations. Actually, the solution in my head was much faster. The number was 18. One team is twice the other and the sum is 18. So one has to be 6 and the other has to be 12 because the sum required to be 18, right? Or hit pause and think about this problem by yourself. And because I don't know whether you have figured it out or not, I'll stay for a second, right? So what I'm saying is a plus d plus g plus h is equal to 12 and b plus c plus e plus f is equal to 6. Take your time because right now we are learning. The important thing also to learn is that it's not difficult even if it is not making sense to some of you right now, and I know there is always someone that it is not making sense to, right? So what I noticed was half the team was, as in half the number of authors, one team was twice the number of other team, and I know the total was 18. So I thought of numbers. I did not even write the equation, by the way. I thought of two numbers. One is the double of the other and the sum of the two numbers is 18, right? So I figured out that a plus d plus g plus h is equal to 12 and b plus c plus e plus f is equal to 6. Now I go back to my rule that I just read, that the minimum is one paper and the maximum is three papers. And if I think about this equation, a plus d plus g plus h, the sum is 12. That means everybody will have to have 3 because you cannot go more than 3. The sum is 12. That means everybody will have to write 3 papers, right? So I can conclude that A is equal to B is equal to, no, not B, equal to D is equal to D, G is equal to H, and all of them are equal to 3. Is this step okay? Guys, if I tell you there are two people and the sum of their income is 18 rupees and one person's income is twice the other person's income, so what are the numbers that you will come up with? Or now you know the number, think of 6 and 12, right? And even if you are struggling here, think about it. Why am I struggling here? I have done enough, like should have done maths, a lot of maths before this, right? So, sorry. Yeah, so I'll assume that this is figured out. A plus D plus G, because I thought there are 8 people, this is 4 people, so that means the other 4. So team A is twice the number of papers by team B. Okay. The sum of team A and team 2, just solve this equation, guys. This is a quadratic equation. Instead of team 1, write 2T2 and that's it. 2T2 plus T2 is equal to 18. 3T2 is equal to 18. That means T2 is equal to 6. That means T1 is equal to 12. So can't be getting stuck here, right? So cannot be. I'm just definitely putting a definitive statement here. This was the easy part. This is not the challenging part. So I figured out, not only that, I figured out that A and D and G and H, the number is equal to 3. Now, 4 of the authors were from India and 2 each were from Japan and China. Capture this information somewhere slowly. India, 4 authors. Out of the 8 authors, 4 from India, 2 from Japan, 2 for China. Each author belonged to exactly one of the 3 areas: manufacturing, automation, and logistics. So I have 3 areas I've captured on the table for that. Just separate areas to capture information: manufacturing, automation, and logistics. And there are 3 countries: India, China, Japan. India has 4 authors, China and Japan have 2 authors each. Now it says 4 of the authors were from logistics area and 2 were from the automation area. So bookkeeping, 4 were from logistics. Maybe put it here. 4 were from logistics and 2 were from automation. How many authors overall? I know there are 8 authors. That means manufacturing, there must be 2 authors as well. Are we okay so far? As per the journal policy, none of the authors could have more than one paper in any issue of the journal. That means in January issue, April issue, July issue, October issue, one author can submit only one paper. If he has written 3 papers, they must be in different issues, in different months as such. Great. So again, I will ask, is there a challenge anywhere? No, there is not a challenge so far. The following facts are also known. If an Indian author from the logistics area wrote only one paper, it was scheduled in the October issue. Wow, so much clear information. One of the authors, I'm looking for 4 authors in October. One of them is F. And I also know F is from India. And I also know he is from logistics. So, who are the 4 people in logistics? One of them is F, right? So, let me again mark this. I have captured this already. A was from the automation area and did not have a paper scheduled in the October issue. A was from automation. A, if I look at, he had 3 papers. There are only 4 issues. He did not have it in October. That means he had issues in all the other 3 months. So he would have, A would be present in January, A would also be present in April, and A would also be present in July. Now this step where I said A, I know has 3 papers and there are 4 issues, he is not there in the 4th issue, therefore he is there in the 3 issues. This is logic, this is the most basic level deduction. Are we okay so far? Right? So A was from automation and did not have a paper scheduled in the October issue. I've captured already. None of the Indian authors were from the manufacturing area, and none of the Japanese or Chinese authors were from the automation area. Okay. Indian authors not in manufacturing. Okay, so not Indian, right? Then I read, and none of the Japanese or Chinese authors were from the automation area. So in automation, no China, Japan, cross CJ. But A is there in automation. That means A must be from India. This is another deduction. This is what we mean by logic, and this is a small step. The challenge is a series of steps, right? Tell me if it's okay so far. You can also be moving ahead of me and hopefully you're solving it with me, right? So A is from automation, A is from India, and A is done these 3 months. Later I'll connect all of these 3 pieces as required by the question, right? Great, I'll move on. So none of the Indian authors and from manufacturing and Japanese and Chinese are not from the automation. A and H were from different countries. I know A is from India. That means H is not from India. Keep capturing information, right? But had their papers scheduled in exactly the same issues. Oh wow. H also has 3 papers, and this is saying that A and H were all in the same issues. That means H is also there in January, April, and July. Are we okay with this? Yes, no? And I also know that in India, I will not put a H, just I'll remember that, I guess. Or I can write right now, not H. So H has to be from China or Japan. H is equal to China / Japan. Okay? So great, had their paper scheduled in exactly the same issues. C and E, both Chinese authors. Oh wow. C and E are both Chinese authors and they are from different areas. That means one from manufacturing, automation, and logistics. They are from different areas, which I'll capture later. Had the same number of papers scheduled. Oh wow. Further, E had papers scheduled in consecutive issues of the journal, but C did not. So C and E, Chinese have captured. had the same number of paper scheduled and E had it in consecutive. Okay, so let me think of B, C, E and F story also. Remember, it told me that minimum has to be 1, right? And I've already figured out that F is equal to 1. That means I know B plus C plus E is equal to 5. Yeah, because F story was given to me earlier. And I know 1, 1, 1 at least they will be there. So out of 5, 3 are accounted for. I have 2 more papers to deal with, right? And it is saying C and E are equal to each other. Not only that, E has consecutive months. E cannot be 3, definitely I know that, right? Because if no, actually E can be 3 as well. What I meant was that I know C and E are equal and E is there in consecutive months. If E is 3, C will also have to be 3. That will make the total 6, which is not possible. That means E has to be 2 and C has to be 2 as well. Why not 1? Why is E not 1? Because the story said that E is there in consecutive months. That means it has to be at least 2. So from this story I figure out C is equal to 2 and E is equal to 2 as well. And therefore I also figure out that B is equal to 1. I might have to revisit the rule. So in your reading, it's not just you read it once and you get all the answers. So far we were very lucky and with a lot of clear pieces. But in even a tougher problem, you will have, okay, I capture it, it did make 50% sense, but a later rule combined with this rule will help me again, right? Tell me, are we okay so far? I'm assuming we are. Or you can always stop and rewind and figure, or the best is always to figure it out by yourself. The step is already there on the screen, right? So I use this piece, had the same number of paper scheduled. Further, E had paper scheduled in consecutive issues of the journal, but C did not. Where, in which 2 months, I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I'll think about it in a second. B from the logistics area had a paper scheduled in the April issue of the journal. Okay, great. B is from logistics and he had a paper in April. Moving on. B and G belong to the same country. If I look at this data, B and G belong to the same country, basically tells me B and G are from India. Why is that? Because China is not possible. China had only 2 authors, C and E already taken care of. If C and E are gone, that means if China slots are gone, I also had a piece which said H is either Chinese or Japanese, which tells me H is Japanese because there are no Chinese slots available. That means if B and G have to be from the same country, they have to be from India only, right? That means who is left to be in Japan? D is left to be in Japan. Right? And now I'm thinking that maybe it's easy for me, but not for everybody. Just do 10 sets and you'll figure out the process, provided the fear is removed, right? So B and G belong to the same country. None of their papers were scheduled in the same issue of the journal. B and G, same country, but no same issues. And if I look at G again, G has 3 papers. G cannot be in April, but G has to be everywhere else. Why? Because G has 3 papers, there are only 4 slots, 1 slot is ruled out. That means G will definitely be there in the rest of the slots. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, definitely. I'm assuming all of this is making sense if English is making sense. Oh, D is a Japanese author, by the way. I had already concluded. Wow to me. D is Japanese. I had already concluded from other pieces of information, but let me go through it again. D is a Japanese author from the manufacturing area. Okay, great. D is from manufacturing area. He is a Japanese author. And he did not have a paper scheduled in the July issue. D is again 3. So he did not have a issue in July. That means except July, D will be there everywhere. in January, April and October. Great. So what happens is, if you're not experienced, because no answer has come so far, there's a lot of pressure and anxiety, and people think that's the difficulty, right? So get in touch with your emotions, as Guruji says, as in spiritual guru says that, and be relentless, just step after step, right? So D is a Japanese author from the manufacturing area and did not have a paper scheduled in July. I've captured this as well. C and H belong to different areas. Another thing that you can do is find where else is C in the story, right? So that you know these two rules can be connected together. C and H belong to different areas. C and E both Chinese from different areas. So C is different from E and C is different from H. Okay, great. Let's think about that now. C is different from E as well as H. Remember, H is Japanese, right? So he cannot be in this story. He cannot be in automation. So I say, okay, maybe H is in manufacturing and C is in logistics, because C and H have to be different. H is Japanese, cannot be in automation. They're separate from each other. But C is also different from E, who's also Chinese. Therefore, he also cannot be in automation. Has to be different from C. That means he has to go to the manufacturing. But manufacturing only has two people. And D and H, two people are gone. So this cannot be. Therefore, C will have to be here. And H will have to be here. And even E will have to be here. Tell me we are okay with this step, and now I'll actually wait till I get a confirmation, at least from one person. And if you're watching it later, press the forward button a few times. Or better still, solve it by yourself. Okay, so I've gone through the rules, and even the rules that were maybe not making sense earlier I've covered. Further, E had paper scheduled in consecutive issues, but C did not. Remember, C is 2, E is 2, and I haven't put it in my schedule table so far. So let me think about that. C cannot be consecutive, E has to be consecutive. So if I say, let me add one more. If I say E is here and E is here, then C will have to be here and here. E and E in Jan and April, and C in July and October. That will be the story. So C will also be consecutive. That cannot happen. Okay, what else can I do? So this is what I mean by building and testing cases. I tried this story, it did not work. I didn't get disappointed, did not feel emotional, felt no trauma. I said, okay, maybe these two are consecutive. This makes sense, because if I do these two, C will be here and C, as in C will be in Jan and C will be in October. C will not be consecutive. Okay, this is possible. What else is possible? Can I put E and E like so? Again, if I do that, C will be in the other 2 months, right? Maybe I'm not making sense here. Okay. So the perfect solution for me is E and E, and sorry about that, and a C here and a C here. Do I have my table full? Let's see. I need 5 in Jan. I have A, H, G, D, C. I have 5. I need 5 in April. I have A, H, B, D, E. I have 4 in July. I have 4 in October. Great. And now I have figured out everything. Yes. Now I can move towards the questions. Let me open the questions file. Okay, so the question number 1 was, what is the correct sequence of number of papers written by B, C, E and G? Actually, this I had figured out halfway through the process. So another point to remember could be that as you solve the set, keep looking at the questions as well. Right now I was too focused on just solving everything, but this one question could have been done earlier. So what is the correct sequence of number of papers written by B, C, E and G? B I know is 1, C I know is 2, E I know is 2 again, and G I know is 3. What an easy question. So tell me, what is the answer going to be? B, C, E, G. B is 1, C is 2, E is 2 and G is 3. So 1, 2, 2, 3. Yes? Yes, very easy, very good. How many papers were written by Indian authors? So just a little work. Indian author number is F. F has written only 1. A has written 3, so a total of 4. B has written 1, so a total of 5. And G has written 3, so a total of 8. So even this question could have been done earlier, right? So once again, repeat it. I don't know, I think that's the teacher's job, just to say everything twice. So F has written 1 paper, A has written 3 papers, total of 4. B has written 1, total of 5, and G has written 3, total of 8 papers. Yes, yes. So that is question number 2, theta types. Which of the following statements must be true? Fearlessly and relentlessly, because now the table is fully complete, everything you have. Every issue had at least 1 paper by authors from each country. So again, so it becomes a task of reading an English sentence that okay, every issue should have every country's person. Is that true? So if I look at January, A is from India, so India is covered. H is from Japan, so Japan is covered. C is from China, so China is covered. So January, there are authors from every country. Again, April, A is from India, H is from Japan, E is from China, every country is covered, right? July, A is from India, H is from Japan, E is from China, every country is covered. So as you progress, the steps become faster as well. F is from India, G is from India, D is from Japan, C is from China, India, China, Japan, all are covered. So the question was which of them must be true? I know statement A is definitely true. Okay. What about statement B? Every issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. So it's saying at most, actually just by probability it sounds true. Now it is talking about areas, that means we are thinking of manufacturing, automation and logistics. Each issue had papers from 2 areas. Okay, so let's go quickly. A is from automation. So automation is there in January. Let me check the rule again, just once again. Issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. So he's saying at most 2. That means you need maximum 2. 1 is also okay. So you have A from logistics. Actually, haven't. Who else is missing? One character is missing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's missing? A, B, C, D, E, F, G is missing. Okay. Okay, so A is from automation, G is from automation, max 2, not a problem. Logistics, because manufacturing and automation, anyway, there are 2 writers, 2 authors only. So let me just check for logistics. In January, do I have more than 2 in logistics? Do I have F, B, H, E? I have only H here, right? No. Check for the second month. I have automation. I have H is from logistics, 1 paper from logistics, B from logistics, so 2 paper from logistics, and E is also from logistics, so 3 paper from logistics. So no. Let me show you the question. It said every issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. No, the second statement is proven wrong, because if I look at data for July, I think, right? No, I was looking at April data. I have B, H and E, all 3 are from logistics. So the question was saying at most 2, proven wrong. Are we okay with this? Yes, of course we are okay with this. So we have already done 3 questions. Maybe I'll do one more and leave the rest for you. There is no challenge anymore. It's just you have to go look at the table and then you'll come out shining and champion like. Which of the following statements is false? Okay. Every issue had exactly one paper by a Chinese author. C and E are the Chinese author, and it's saying it had only one. So C here, E here, E here, C here. Yes, that is true. And I was looking for a false. So, and as at this point of time, as I said in the beginning of the session, it's about stamina and concentration, right? And if you're tired or not. So, had one paper by Chinese author? Yes. Every issue had at least one paper by authors from automation area. Automation is A and G. At least one, yes. At least one, yes. At least one, yes. At least one, yes. So, this is also true. I'm looking for the false one. Every issue had exactly two papers by authors from logistics area. Is it true? I want logistics, FBHE. No, I have only H here. From the logistics, there is only one person who's in this team. So this statement becomes false. Every issue had exactly two papers by authors from logistics. No, in the January issue, H is the only one who's from logistics. B and F, B, F and E are not there in this table. So therefore, this statement, C becomes false. I'm going to skip one question. It's going to be the same. I'm going to leave the process to you. I get restless because I know by this time you guys are jittery as well. Which of the following is the correct sequence of the number of papers by authors from automation, manufacturing, logistics areas respectively? So you want automation first, then manufacturing, then logistics. Okay. So let me look at automation. A and G. A has written 3 papers, G has written 3 papers. 3 plus 3, the answer is going to be 6. So your whatever is your answer option should start with a 6. So option C is ruled out, but there are enough starting with 6. Next is manufacturing. Go back. Manufacturing is D and C. D has written 3 papers and C has written 2 papers. So the sum is going to be 5. Can I stop right now? Yes, I can stop right now. My answer is going to be 6, 5 and 7. And that is the advantages of options. And we are done with the set. Perfect, 100%. And this had 6 questions. And if you take the set from yesterday, that was also fairly easy. So, and there's another set which I haven't discussed, which was so easy, which was ratios and percentages. So, I'm getting 15 without like too much of a burden, right? But how do I reach this stage? You reach the stage by doing 50 to 100 cat sets by yourself. You can take help, you can look at a solution, but next day you must try it by yourself and not from memory, by running the steps. And you cannot do it one set today and then one set 5 days later. Say, okay, I want to deal with this DILR. Do set after set for 30 days straight. Your whole personality will change. You will have biceps and everything. So that is the idea. So that's it for this session. I'm going to stop right now. Remember, I can talk about the skills, but those skills can be learned via the problem solving only. And you say, okay, yeah. And the main lesson should be over and over, even after watching the solution, that okay, most of these DILR sets do not require any special knowledge, no special formula. Yes, basic arithmetic, yes, Venn diagrams, which overlaps with quant, but otherwise nothing. You read the story, you capture the story, and you're done. What is it needed? Systematic thinking, organized thinking, detailed thinking, repetitive thinking, rather than some high funda thinking, right? Because even in English, I can say that idea required more logical work rather than here. So get that idea going, because it's also about belief. Once you believe I can do it, then only the problem can be solved. If while solving the problem you know that you're thinking you're bad at DILR, of course you're not going to solve the problem. That is just basic how universe works. If you believe you can do it, then the chances of doing it happen. If you're already convinced it's not going to happen, it is not going to happen definitely. As I'm sure you guys have seen enough number of times, right? Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop right now and I'll see you really soon with the next challenge. But don't wait for anything, because this was, I mean, even in this, whatever we have done in every single video in the course, in all the DILR videos, and we have done it 50, 60, 70, 80 times already, and in each video these skills have been mentioned in the beginning, right? Plus you learn it anyway after your 50th set. So that's it. You can find the link for the Telegram channel, for the course page, and for the DILR course page in the description box below. Like, share, subscribe, tell your grandmother. I will see you guys really soon.